Welcome to February, everybody. This is Dina. It is February 1st. Let all the February stitching begin. Today, I started my morning on my ornament for February. I am stitching a berry from Erica Michaels in her 12 Berries of Christmas series, one a month. And this month, it's number 2, and it's called Turtle Doves. This is the pattern that has all 3 on it in the front. That's the one I'm doing. It just so happened that the second berry I wanted to stitch on the same green fabric that I had stitched the first berry on. And that's great. And I got started on it early this morning, and I've stitched 817 stitches in this thing, and I think it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I still have to do the 2 turtle doves here, a couple of little flowers with greenery next to them here, and a heart up here. But I've decided to stop on it today because we have a stitching meeting on the 10th of February, and I need something small to take with me to stitch. And I think I'm going to take my berry and see if I can't stitch on it at the stitching meetup and finish it. If I can't finish it there, I'll bring it home and finish it, but I would love to finish it there if I can get that much stitching in for the day. We are going to be making counting pins while we're there, but that meets my start of my berry, which I needed to do this month, and I wanted to go ahead and just tackle it. My private bingo game that I'm in called today the number 15, which for me is a whip closest to a finish. And I'm really at a quandary as to which one that is now. I don't know which whip I would consider closest to a finish. Really don't. So I'm thinking possibly, I'm looking at them over there. Possibly it would be my small gift, I guess. It's either going to be that one or my spring quilt. So I'll decide. I'm going to look at my other prompts and see what I need to stitch. And if one of those is in there, then I'll determine that the one closest to a finish because they're have about the same amount, I think. This one is actually now closest to a finish of any of them that I have. And if I had thought about that, I could have taken a picture earlier and counted my last 100 stitches for my bingo board. But I've stitched on this enough, and I need to move on. You can see on the back, this was the original berry of the partridge in a pear tree. So now I'm on the turtle doves. So the other thing I need to stitch on today is a prompt for my final challenge in my Daily 30 group for the weekly challenge I was working on, that was to stitch on a piece that was from a different country other than where you live. And I said I was going to do Santa's house because it was at the North Pole. And but I had to wait until the 1st to stitch it because a local stitching group, a group of us from that live in North Alabama, and some of us in Georgia are stitching it as a stitch along starting today. And so I wanted to wait till today to stitch on it to hit that prompt. So I'm going to pull that out probably next and go ahead and hit that. So I will, I'll do that, and then I'll look and see what else I need to get started. My Whip Go calls this month are Autumn in the Village and Small Gift. So there you go. I'm going to do Small Gift for the one closest to a finish, and that will give me my first 100 stitches toward the 300 that I need for my Whip Go goal. And if things go really well today, I may go ahead and just stitch all 300 of them. I have a friend coming to stitch, and I need something easy to stitch on, so that would be good. All right, I'm going to put this one away, and I will hopefully bring it back out when we go to our stitching meetup here in February, and I'll have this to stitch on. I'll talk to you hopefully later today with a little bit more to share. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning. Carolyn Zook asked if someone would share with her how you get your projects really tight on a roller frame. So I'm about to load one of mine in a roller frame, and I had promised her I would videotape a little bit of an instruction on how to get it nice and tight. Now I'm basing this on what I was told at a stitching retreat by the owner of Roller Frame, the gentleman who makes them, and I'll share with you what he told us. So I've got my roller frame rods here. They're color coordinated, as you know, so that you can match the tacks with the holes that were drilled specifically for that roller frame. This is a very old roller frame. It's a very, very old one. I have replaced the end bars today for a shorter set of end bars because the ones I had that came with this frame were a little bit too big for me. My arms don't reach up under there as easily. So I'm going to take a minute and turn the camera around and see if I can get it to where you can see what I'm doing. And I'll load it real quick, and then as I get ready to do the tightening, I'll come back and I'll do it in front where you can see me talk to you about it. So hang on a second. Okay, I've got my first roller frame bar on the table, and I've found that this is the center tack. I counted in from the two sides, and I met in the middle right here. So I'm going to line up the center of my fabric with the center tack. Now for a perfect fit, the owner suggests that we pick a rod, if we have the opportunity to pick the size we want, that will actually be only a ½ inch from the end of the roller frame rod, because that's where the first tack is positioned. But in this case, I don't have a rod the exact size that I need, and this one is big enough to hold my fabric. And there's only a little bit. There's actually one tack that I'm not securing in the fabric. So I've got my fabric in there, and now I'm going to put my other half of my rod on there. Let me line up the little hole marks. There we go. And now that is in there, but it's not tight yet. It's just sitting in there. I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom of my fabric. So I'll pull it up this way, and I'm going to take my label off from my fabric, and I'll load this one, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I have both ends now attached to the fabric with the little pins in place. And so now I'm going to take my end bars and put them on, and this is when you tighten your piece together. There is one of the end bars that has a magnet for your needle. So you always want to put that on up facing you, and you want to put it on the side that you like to put your needle. So that's how I decide which place to put my end bars. Okay, those are ready. So now let's tighten it. I am going to start rolling, and I roll mine inside because I like to stitch in the well when I can, because when I flip it over and need to run my thread to end it, if I do roll it this way, it's nice and smooth on the back and I'm not trying to get down in the well. I just got a flat surface that I can tie it off on. So that's why I choose to roll it inside. Now you're going to start right in the middle. This is key for tightness. You're going to start right in the middle. Take your thumbs, push your fabric around the rod and turn it just ever so slightly. And then what you want to do is go all the way down the rod doing that. You're pushing it tight with your, twisting it, pulling on it to keep it nice and tight and even. And then you turn it a little bit more and you do the same. You pull it tight with your thumb, you're pushing it down. And you just keep doing that out to the ends. The key from the manufacturer is that the more you work it out the end, the tighter it's going to be, because you find that it loosens when it gets to the end. So you pull it and then you take it toward the end and you pull it tight at the end. So it takes just a minute, but it's well worth the investment of time. Now, the bulk of my fabric is going to be on the bottom because I'm starting very near the top of my fabric. I only have about a 3-inch margin at the top of my fabric. So now, let me put, I'm gonna move my camera slightly, hang on a second, so you can see the ends. I'm gonna slide my bar in one end, and I'm gonna roll this up until it fits on the other end. That lets me know the size that I need. There you can see. Now they're both in there now. So I will do the other side the same way. There we go. Now, you can put your ends on there so that you can screw them down. And what I do is I lift it with one hand. I leave the other hand resting on the other end resting on the table. And I clamp it closed and I put the wing nuts on the bottom. I don't tighten them all the way down yet. Just putting them on. Let me do it with my right hand so I can have a better control. There we go. I'm still leaving it just a little bit loose so I can still roll and make this nice and tight. again. I gotta use my right hand because I'm right-handed. Okay. Okay. Now, you see that's still nice and loose. All right, so I've got the top where I want it. So I'm going to tighten it down nice and firm. That's not going anywhere. So now I'm going to take this bottom piece and I'm going to take it and I'm going to do this twist from the middle out till it's as tight as I want. Tighten my wing nuts to hold it right there. Now, can you hear that? It's tight as a drum. So you keep it that way until you're finished stitching on it for the day. You can loosen the wing nuts just a little bit at the bottom and just a little half turn, and you've got it as loose as you need it for storage so that you're not stretching your fabric too much. But I think the key there is you start in the middle, you pull your fabric down with your thumbs, get it nice and tight, and you keep that tautness from the middle out. And every time you roll it, you do from the middle out. And then you cinch it down. You'll have really nice tight tension. Okay, I hope that helps, Carolyn. Let me know. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I guess I got used to coming to see you 3 times in a day when I was doing all those bingo games and whatnot. But today, I am here at the end of the day to share with you my stitching for today. I already showed you what I did this morning on my berry to start for the first. But today, I was stitching on Santa's house. And I was stitching on this for 2 reasons. One reason is there's the stitch along with some friends of mine that all started it today. And even though I had started it at the library a couple of weeks ago, I waited to stitch on it until today. And I had a prompt I was meeting with it today as well. So the prompt called for 300 stitches. And so I stitched 321 till that thread ran out. And I'll show you now what that means. So here's the piece. I had done this border piece in the white before, so all this additional white and the pink color, which is this gorgeous ladybug by Classic Colorworks, has been started now. So 321 stitches, got that a little further along, and I met the prompt, so I'm really pleased with that. I didn't get to do my bingo call with my private bingo game today because it took me a little while to figure out the number that was called, 15, was for a whip closest to a finish. And I couldn't figure out which one of my pieces are now closest to a finish. So by the time I had pretty much decided I thought it was small gift, I checked with my friend Donna on what she thought of which one of my whips she would think would be the next one closest to a finish, and she said the same one. So I felt like that was good confirmation that I picked the right one. So I probably will do that in the morning. It's kind of late tonight, and I'll do that and the call for tomorrow. The call for tomorrow is Miss Christmas Eve. So I do need to put 100 stitches in both of those if I can tomorrow. I will be stitching, hopefully, talking to my friend Glow in the morning. And so working on small gift in the morning would be easy to do. That's when it's Ada. I can stitch on it while I talk. So that'll be good. And then I can do my Miss Christmas Eve after we get off the phone when I can concentrate. That would be good. All right, I'm going to say good night. I'm going to go hit the hay and hopefully have a great day tomorrow with the stitching. And hope you have had a wonderful start to February. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is the 2nd of February, and I'm here to talk with you about stitching, FFO, and whip-go. So, first of all, today I wound up getting to stitch on my private bingo call for yesterday, which was a whip closest to a finish, and I had decided that was going to be Small Gift by Mary Englebrect and Imaginating. And this is what it looks like on the pattern. And I felt like this was probably my next closest to a finished piece, and decided that that qualified for that. But another reason that I was happy to pick this one is that it is one of my whip go calls this month. It's number 3 on my whip go board. So I needed 100 stitches for my bingo game, but I needed 300 stitches for whip go. So I put in 304 stitches today, and I'll show you what that equates to. I had mentioned the last time I showed this to you, there was only one line of white stitching below her coat once I got it all back stitched. So I came in today and I added in more stitching down to 3 lines under her coat so that that would look a little more balanced there. And then so I can roll it up and start working closer to the top, I came back in here and I back stitched this deer, this whole deer. I back stitched its entire body, the little holly on top of its head, eyes, ears, everything. And then I went over here and I back stitched what I could of all of the colors, these 2 colors, because they were completed. This one I couldn't back stitch because it's going to have something, you know, stitched next to it. Then I came over here and did something that I had been talking about doing and had been a little leery to do it, and that is the beautiful ribbon around the deer's neck and the little pretty clear bell or pretty white and blue bell that's around its neck. So I got the ribbon completely stitched. It's not back stitched, but it's stitched. And then I got 2 colors in the bell, and then I had 308 stitches, so I decided to stop there. I wanted to come in here and show it to you because now I can roll it up, and I will probably roll it till about right here because I haven't back stitched all of this leg. I've back stitched this one, but I haven't done this one yet, so I have to leave that available to back stitch as I go. So there you have Small Gift, more back stitching today, more colors added today, but the next time you see it, it'll be rolled up and you'll see the top instead of the bottom. So that'll be good. I do have this again, probably. I'm looking to see if I have it again on my I don't have it again per se on my bingo game, but I do have 2 spaces on bingo for whip go call. So if I've already finished the 2 whip go calls by the time that is called, I could always pull it back out just because it was the whip go call and I can stitch on it. So I might get to stitch on it again this month. We'll see. It is on my year of whips. So, you know, if I'm stitching it toward a finish, I could very easily want to pull it back out. So there you go. So the next thing I want to tell you is the call for today in my little local bingo group is for Miss Christmas Eve. So I will either stitch on that later this evening when I get home from dinner, because my husband and I are going out. I think we're going to go out and have fish. Anyway, or I will come back and I'll stitch on something, you know, that might not be quite as difficult with all the color changes or something like that. I am going to a stitching meetup tomorrow that I hadn't planned on. My friend Juliana invited me to go. I think I may have mentioned that to you already. And I'm very excited about doing that. She's picking me up in the morning. I have not decided what I'm taking with me to stitch. I think I'm going to take with me my berry, my February ornament start, which is the second berry of the Erica Michaels berries. It's not that far from a finish, and it's on Ada, and I think it would be easy to stitch in a group. So I'm thinking that might be one I take with me, and I don't know what else. So, well, my final information I want to share with you today is an FFO. I recently took my autumn in the country to Michael's to be framed because I had a couple of gift cards to Michael's, and so I got the call today that it was ready. So here it is. I think it's beautiful. I'm trying to get that light out of there, so let's see if I can work on that. I think it's a beautiful frame. Look at that metallic brown gold brushed frame with that orange brown gold leaves. I just think they're beautiful together. And because this fabric is so beautiful, this autumn fabric from Be Stitch Me, I didn't put a mat in it. I just left it the way it was. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. This piece is not that big, so it framed up nice and small. I really, really love it. I think it's gorgeous, and I'm happy with the way it turned out. I think the girl did a really good job. When I went to pick it up and I told her my name, she said, I just finished that this morning. So she's the one who framed it. So I took the opportunity to tell her what a good job I thought she had done with keeping it straight. You know, it's at least as straight as I could have done, if not better. And she said, well, let me tell you something. She said, it's got about 60 pins in it. So she had obviously worked very hard on it. She put spacers in it for me because there are beads in those corners, and all four corners. So I am tickled to death. I think it's turned out really, really well, and I hope you like it. And I showed it to my husband when I got home, and he said, oh my gosh, fall is over. You got to wait all the way to fall to put that up. And I thought, well, yeah, in the house, but I got a stitching room. I can put this on the shelf and I can look at it. So I will be. But thanks for letting me share that with you. I was so tickled. That didn't take long at all. I was surprised. I was expecting at least another week. But I'm glad it's here. So that's my stitching so far today and my FO. So I will let you get back to, I hope you're stitching. Oh, I will tell you one more thing. I put up a video today. It's been a long time coming. It's been 2 days trying to get that thing up there. I don't know what happened. Maybe you guys know, but I use iMovie, and I take the video on my phone, and I took the videos and I airdrop them to my iMovie. I import them into my little movie that I'm making, and I just pull them down together. I call it knitting them together. All I do is pull them down into the bottom where the movie's being put together. I edit if I misspeak or if I sneeze or cough. You know, I try to get that out for you. I put titles in between the segments to help break it up, because sometimes with it being an hour long, usually, I know you don't get to watch all of it at one time quite often. So if you have a title that you can go to, you know, a divider, it's easier to find where you were. Anyway, Also kind of lets you know what's coming. I had all of that done. I had it edited, titles in it, and I went to save it to export it to YouTube. Clicked on the button that I do every movie, and it acted like it was starting, and then it would, the minutes that it was going to take just kept dropping and dropping real quick, and then it would say failed, share failed. I went through that for 2 days. I tried it. I retried it thinking I'd hit a wrong button somehow. And then I went back out of iMovie and back into iMovie to refresh it to see if there was just a glitch somewhere. And I tried it again another day, and that didn't work. I went back through the movie to see if maybe it needed to have the continuity of having the whole thing played again. So it would know how much of it was really there. I don't know. I was just trying to think of any kind of weird little glitch that could have happened. Nothing worked. I tried it for 2 days. I must have tried it 5 times. Anyway, I decided my last opportunity was to start over. So I created a new movie. I imported all of my clips again. I edited them all again. I put titles in again, and I clicked the save share button, you know, that I always do to get it to save on my desktop, and then that's how I tell YouTube where to find it to when I'm uploading it. Anyway, I crossed my fingers and I left, and I went to the post office to mail some packages. And when I got back, my husband had gotten home from his run, and we talked and visited, you know, and that's when he was talking about going to the beach, and so we did a whole lot of stuff. And when I finally got back in there to check on it, I told my husband, you might want to go outside and protect your ears, because if this one hasn't worked, I'm going to scream, because I don't know what else to do. And thank you, Lord, it worked. So it saved, and then I was able to upload it, and I just published it a few minutes ago. So that one has been 3 days in the making. I've heard several of you talk about having difficulty uploading your videos and having files corrupted. Is that what happens when they're corrupted? I don't know. Mine had an error message, and that message was that there was something wrong at tile number, and there was a number, and I thought maybe that meant the minute marking, and I went there and looked, and there's nothing in the video. There wasn't a break. I hadn't spliced anything, you know. So I don't know what happened. I don't know. Anyway, it kind of scared me. I thought, well, gee, I'm just going to disappear, and y'all aren't going to know why. But anyway, it's an old computer, and I'm afraid it may be on its last leg. My husband has bought me a laptop, and he's tried to kind of get it set up for me. I'm not really tech savvy, and so every time I try to get on that laptop to use anything, it makes me log in or set up a new login for that piece of equipment, and when I do, it knocks everything else off, because I have my iPad and my phone and my computer downstairs, my desktop computer. I have all those linked, so that when I'm getting email, it goes to all 3, and when I update it at one, it updates everything. I have them all linked. My husband set them up that way, and unfortunately, the new laptop is not playing nice. It's not playing along. So if you have any advice for me, what I'm afraid of is that I'm going to have to start making my movies on my new laptop. And even though it's iMovie, I have not had good luck with trying to get anything set up on it. So, and I know that's me. I know that's my lack of knowledge, my lack of experience. So, not looking forward to that. But anyway, we'll get there, and as long as I can, I'll keep making movies. But if all of a sudden I disappear, it's probably a technical problem. It's not that I'm mad and gone away or something. So just so you know, I just wanted to warn you about that. All right, have a great evening. Have a great weekend. It's Friday night, so have a great weekend. Have a good weekend of stitching. Enjoy your family, and hopefully I'll be back really soon to share some stitching with you. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is a little bit later on January the 2nd, and I am here to share with you the stitching I've accomplished for another prompt today. I was stitching for my bingo group, and the number that was called for today was number 6, and for me that was Miss Christmas Eve, and I needed to put 100 stitches in her. I'll remind you, this is what this lovely lady looks like. So let me walk you through where all I went to. Okay, so for a while I've had one side of this ribbon stitched, but I had not stitched the Karen water lilies in that side. So today I stitched 2 colors of the Karen water lilies in this side of that ribbon. And then I came in and I got this bright green. There's some Karen water lily in here as well. That's one of those colors that I stitched on down here. Then I got this bright green, and I started up here where it was needed, and I just filled in all the spaces that needed that color all the way down to here. This is another big block of a different color. And so I did quite a bit in that until I hit 111 stitches all total. It's hard to see a lot of progress on this right now because I'm doing a lot of the confetti. I'm taking the colors that are running in between the blocks of color, and I'm stitching those to try to make sure they're placed correctly, because as you can see, they are draped across her, and I want to make sure that they lay correctly. There are a lot of holes there for beads as well, but it's coming along, and that's another 111 stitches in her skirt. So I think that's great. This is on my year of whips. Whether I will finish it or not is yet to be seen. This is one that's probably the furthest away from being finished. But I felt like I wanted something to encourage me, you know, to work on her even more. So that's my Miss Christmas Eve. Now, in the bingo group that I'm in, the little private group I'm in, we do bingo a little differently. They come up with a special shape, and this shape is a heart. Now my board is scrunched. If it were the whole size of the page, it would look very much like a heart, but I can't figure out how to print it that way. Anyway, so this one actually is one of the squares that count toward the bingo. So I'm very excited about that. And I'll mark it completed, and I'll be able to post it in my Facebook group. So we have our call for tomorrow in my bingo game, and that is Santa's house. And that's good because I'm going to a stitching group tomorrow, and I won't be home till much later in the day. So I'm probably going to take Santa's house with me and work on it while I'm there to get my 100 stitches. We shall see, but that is my plan at the moment. So I hope you've had a great day. It's been a great Friday. There's a new challenge up in the, I call it the Daily 30 group. That's sort of my nickname for it. It's the Cross Stitchers Journal and Daily Sal, I think is the name of the group. I had someone ask me that today. It is a closed group. They do open in November, and you can be recommended by someone in the group to join. So if you want to be a part of that group, reach out to someone you know next November and ask them to nominate you. I think we got to nominate 2 people this past year. So anyway, that's where I get a lot of my challenges and prompts from. That's definitely where I get my acrostic that requires the 300 stitches each. So when you hear me talk about it, know that if you're interested in that, mark your calendar for November so that you can try to get in next year. Okay, that's going to be it for this evening. Gonna head down and spend some time with the family and just chill for the evening. So I'm not used to getting finished with my stitching this early. They'll be shocked when I come downstairs. So I hope you're stitching. I hope you're making lots of progress, and I hope that you're enjoying everything you're doing. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Dina, and today is February the 3rd, and it's a Saturday, and I am here to share with you what stitching I have accomplished so far. Well, you know, each month I want to stitch an ornament. It's part of a sal that I am in with friends. And I chose to do one of the Christmas berries from Erica Michaels for each of my monthly ornaments. And for February, I'm doing 2 turtle doves. And I started it late on the 1st, and I waited until today to work on it again because I went to a stitching meetup today, and this was a good thing to take with me. So I finished it today. I finished most of it at the stitching meetup, and then I had just a little tiny bit of it left to stitch when I got home. And because my friend Juliana and I wanted to leave a little bit early and go shopping. We wanted to see what was on sale at Michael's because we were in another little town. So we were in Marietta, Georgia today, so we were a good distance away. But this is Turtle Doves. I love it, love it, love it on my green fabric. This is a hand-dyed Ada that I got at Garage Stitchery. So thank you, Gary and Ronnie, for this beautiful fabric. And I had mentioned before I've got 3 different colors of the Ada, and I'm going to do the 4 berries on each color. And I decided once I opened this fabric that I would stitch the 4 berries on the green all together so that I didn't have to open another piece of fabric and have it start getting handled and dirty and that sort of thing. So this is berry number 2, and it just so happened that it was on green fabric as well. So I've got Turtle Doves complete, and I think it's beautiful. So here is the Partridge in a Pear Tree, and here is Turtle Doves. I think that red in there really makes it pop. So now I have finished my ornament for February. Yay! I have my first finish in February. I have looked ahead, and for March, I will be working on day number 5 because it's the next one on my green fabric. So in March, I will start 5 golden rings, and we'll see how that goes. I want to tell you just briefly about the stitching meetup today. My friend Juliana invited me to go with her. It's part of the EGA, the Embroidery Guild, and I'm not a member of that guild. They meet down in Marietta, which is over an hour for me to get to for their meetings, and they have them on Sunday, and I'm in choir, and I can't get out of my obligations at church quick enough to get in the car and drive the distance to be there in time to go to the guild meetings or to meet with them. But today was a stitching day that anybody could come to. You could bring guests. You didn't have to be a member of the guild. It didn't cost you anything to go. And Juliana invited me to go. I was really, really happy that she did. It was at a Barnes & Noble, and we were able to pull the chairs together around the tables in the dining area, their little snack area. We had no idea how many people would be there, but it turned out I think about 10 showed up, which was really nice. I met a lady there who is the one of the Celtic sisters. owners, which is an online needle workshop. She lives near there, and she is hoping in the next year or so to open a brick and mortar store in Marietta, which means, that we would at least have a shop within an hour to an hour and a half of us. My closest one right now is Annabella's, and it is about an hour and a half away. So that would be very welcome news, and I told Kathy that. So I'm glad I got to meet her. I think she's coming to our stitching meetup this coming Saturday. I hope she will, and introduce herself to everybody there. They'll be so happy to see her and meet her. But today, it was all about my berry, and I stitched totally today 571 stitches to finish this thing. So yay for that. I have to go look now and see if there's any prompt at all that I can use this for. I've got an E and M in Erica Michaels, and I've got turtle doves, so I've got a T and a D. So we'll see. I'll have to go and look at my acrostics and see if any of them, can be met with that. So I'll do that before I put it away, and I'll post it. I have yet to do my stitching for my bingo game this morning because it's on a roller frame now, and I didn't want to take it to the stitching meetup with me. So I will be pulling out Santa's house in a few minutes, and I will try to get 100 stitches in it before I go to dinner, if I can. If not, I'll do it when I get home, but hopefully tonight, before I stop stitching, I will have Santa's house stitched for my bingo game. So we'll go from there. So yay, I've got my berry done for the month, and I've got prompts to work on. So I'm very happy with that, and that will kind of guide my stitching along the way. I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is you might be working on, and I hope you're getting lots of stitching time. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello everyone, how are you? It is later on February the 3rd, but I am finished stitching for the day, and I wanted to share with you what I accomplished. I had mentioned earlier that I didn't get a chance to stitch on my bingo call, which was Santa's house. This is one of the brand new ones that everybody's gone crazy over, including me. It's from the Cottage Garden Samplings, and it's the first of a series of houses. I'm not planning on doing the others at this moment. I just thought this one was beautiful, and I couldn't walk away from it, so I picked it up. So this was my bingo call today in my little private bingo game, and I did 114 stitches in it today. And so you'll be able to tell I added more of the beautiful ladybug floss in those snowflakes when I was stitching on this the other day, and I started with the red for the first time, and I did these little pieces up here, the little crosses. I thought, I can't believe there's red in these snowflakes, but they're gorgeous, and that is what the pattern calls for. So today I did all of red stitches, and it was 114 of them. There's one more white snowflake motif right here in this little section that has a red dot right in the middle, but I hadn't stitched the white one yet, so I didn't do that yet. I'll do that next time I pick it up, and then what I will do, I believe, is be ready to stitch the background of the roof, at least over to this window. It's beautiful. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying stitching on it, and I think it's going to be really, really pretty when it's finished. So that's the stitching for today. I am going to put all this away. Tomorrow is a busy day. We have our church activities, and then we are going out to lunch with a couple from church that we've never had the opportunity to really go anywhere with or spend much time with. We've talked with them at church, several times, and have talked with them even during an event at the church. when we got to share a table with them for a little while. But they're fairly new, and we haven't had a chance to really get to know them. So we invited them to join us for lunch tomorrow. And so we're going to do that, and I'm looking forward to it, meeting new friends. And so I'll do that, and it may be fairly late in the day before I get to stitch. But my call on my bingo game for tomorrow is my Erica Michaels berry. So I'm just going to post my finish in there. I didn't mean to do it ahead of time, but I'm not going to start the next one in advance. So I'm just going to put my finish in there and show them that I did stitch on it. It is done, and we'll just go from there. It's not one of the squares that gives me a bingo anyway, so that shouldn't cause any problems. But I just didn't want to go ahead and start March's berry. I just wasn't ready to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it's done. And then we'll see what's called the next day. So I'm going to say goodnight. It's fairly late in the evening. It's probably about 10 o'clock, and I am going to go to bed. I will hopefully have some stitching to share with you tomorrow. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is February the 5th. It's a Monday morning, and I'm here to share my stitching with you so far this morning. Yesterday, I worked on a couple of things. I worked on a prompt in my Daily 30 group for a challenge called Cruise Week, and I had to stitch on an item, a project that had legs in it, something with legs in it. And then I noticed also when I chose the piece for that, that it was in my Daily 30 acrostic. Well, as you know, in the Daily 30 group, you can't double dip. You can't stitch one group of stitches and count it into events. So I had to stitch 2 groups of stitches. The minimum amount of stitches I could get for Cruise Week was 300. It was either a choice of 300 or 400. So I went ahead and chose 300 and stitched 327 stitches. And then I decided to start stitching again this morning on it to get my acrostic. I should have reversed them because my first group of stitches was 327. Then I decided I was going to finish the motif, and today I stitched 570. So I would have had the 400 stitches had I not already posted for that, but that's okay. It's good to have the stitches. So this is Hawk Run Hollow, and I stitched on it for the legs for the rabbits. They all have legs. And I finished that whole section of Hawk Run Hollow. There's a tree here, and then there's another section over here of rabbits in that beautiful teal blue background. And that's not water. It's meant to be grass or a hillside. But it looks like water, doesn't it? They use that color for water on the piece, so we'll see. I thought about changing it to green, but I like the color, so I left it that way. So if you're counting, that is 897 stitches in this little piece right here. Now, that included all but 2 rabbits. I had stitched 2 rabbits when I got started, so I stitched everything else in that for those 2 prompts. So that's great. I love it. That is a good amount of progress on my Hawk Run Hollow. I don't usually get that many stitches in at one time, so I'm real happy about that. Whew. It's a little chilly here today, so pardon me for fussing with my sweater. So my bingo call today in my little private bingo group is for snow and mountains. And as you know, my snow and mountains is the piece I've divided into 12 equal parts, or roughly equal parts, so that I can stitch each month. So I'm excited that that was called today because I can get started on my monthly portion. Now I only have to do 100 stitches. But depending on how the day goes, I may decide, you know, to stitch more than that. I'm going to look and see if it's on my any of my other acrostics, especially the Daily 30, because if it is, that requires 300 stitches. So we'll go from there. I have also yet to meet my second whip go call. I have met the first one, which is Small Gift. I met that on the 2nd of February. But my other call is number 24, and that is Autumn in the Village. And I need to put 300 stitches in that sometime this month. It is also on my acrostic. And I think it's on the one that requires 300 stitches. I think I did that on purpose, so that if I stitch 300 stitches on it once, I'm going to hit both of my prompts, which will be great. So I'm just going to get busy and do some more stitching. I was originally supposed to be going to my friend Juliana's to stitch with her today, but her mom's little puppy has gotten sick, and they took it to the vet over the weekend, and it has congestive heart failure, and they need to start it on some medication, and she's having to take it for follow-up visits. And it was supposed to be this morning, and they called and changed it to this afternoon when I was supposed to be there. So we'll reschedule that. So my plans changed today. Instead of me having to think of something that I could stitch on a small Q-snap or something that's transportable, I can stay here and stitch on anything on my big roller frames. So who knows what I may get into today. Anyway, I think I'll start with my bingo numbers, because we try to get those done every day. And I'll get that out of the way as far as, you know, anything that has a time frame. And then I'll just pick up what I want to work on to meet a prompt somewhere, and I'll just stitch what I want to stitch on. So that'll be good. So Juliana, I'm wishing you well about your mom's puppy, and I hope everything goes well at the vet's today, and hope to get to see you later in the week. So I'll talk to you guys as soon as I have more stitching to share. See you soon. Happy stitching. Hello again. This is Dina, back to share with you a little more stitching today. It is right after noon, about 5 minutes after actually, and I have finished stitching for my bingo call today. My bingo call was Neige at Montagne. I guess that's how you say that. Snow and Mountains. And it's by Madame Lafille. And this is the piece I've divided into 12 sections that were remaining so that I could finish it this year. And I was working in this middle section. I've done, whoa, I almost dropped it. I was working in the middle section. I've done the top half of that section, and now I have to work on the bottom half. Interestingly enough, to do that requires 3 pages, because this page on the pattern actually breaks over here and over here. You know, so there's a page up here, there's a page that has this side and a page that has that side corner. And so I have to look at 3 different pages to finish when I get down to this, you know, end of the thing. So I thought, wow, I would love to finish up all of those corners, but it's too much. So I needed 100 stitches today to complete my bingo call, and I actually stitched 235. So let me share with you what I did. I came in here and I did almost all of that house that hadn't been done yet. I had some of it done before, but I did 2 or 3 more colors in that house. And I came over here and I did some colors, 1 color of green. That color is now color completed for the whole block. So the next thing I will, oh, and the other thing I've done is I brought this border all the way down, and I brought this little border all the way down. So 235 stitches. I now have my 2 sides finished, and I've come back up here and I've started working my way down. And my plan of attack is that I'm going to do every color other than white and leave white for the end and do all the snow at one time. So I will be stitching every other color in the piece other than the white. And then I'll get down here to these corners and I'll try to do all the way across the bottom, which will be a good number of stitches as well. But this, I have all month to do this section, and there is there's a shadow, there's a little more greenery over here, and then there's a shadow of some of the light blues under the house, like a shadow from the house, the church. And then the rest is snow until you get to the very bottom, and that's where that bow and pine cones and all that start, right about in here. So I will probably need to stitch on this 2 or 3 more times this month, simply because of the confetti that's in there. But I am very pleased that I got 235 stitches in it today when I only needed 100. But I just kept stitching until lunchtime. I decided I would just stitch on it until it was time to feed my husband. And then after lunch, I can pick up anything I want and stitch on it. So I will be looking at my prompts. I will be determining what I want to stitch on. This Snow and Mountains is actually in 2 acrostics as well. So in addition to my bingo call, I will be using it for the W in Do What You Want in the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch acrostic. My W stands for Winter Scene in Snow Mountains. And then in my magazine monthly challenge, I used it for the N in the acrostic is snowshoe, and I used it for the N in the word snow for Neige at Montagne. So it's not in my daily 30 acrostic, so I didn't have to stitch all the way to 300. So I decided to stop when I finished that green color. Felt like that was good. It's 12:05. It's time to feed my hubby. And so I'll be taking a picture of this and posting it in my acrostics. And then when I get back after lunch, I'll look back at my acrostics and my prompts, and I'll decide what I want to work on, and I'll pull it out and work on it. And I'll come back and share it with you. So I hope you're having a great start to your week. I certainly am. I've gotten a lot of stitching done already today, and I'm excited that I might get to do a little more. So that'll be fun. I will talk to you soon, and in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's a little bit later in the evening on February 5th, and I'm here to show you the last bit of stitching that I'm going to do today. It is for my whip go board. I decided today, after I met my bingo goal, to pull out my whip go call. My whip go call for number 24 is Autumn in the Village, and I needed to do my goal of 300 stitches today. And that was a bit of a goal because this is confetti heavy. It really, really is very much confetti heavy. So today, I'll show you what I mean. I add up my stitches as I count them. This is how many times I counted and added and counted and added and counted and added. And if you look at some of them, you'll see that it says 8, 16, 4, 6, 6, 6, 2, 3. It took forever to get to 300 today because of the confetti. But the end result is kind of nice. I have almost finished the second house. There is a little side piece over here that almost looks like something you would see on a barbershop. In fact, it is a barbershop. It's one of those little barbershop signs that have the red stripe going down it. And when I got to it, it calls for a Krynic or a shiny thread of some sort. And I did not have it in my kitted threads. It called for rainbow blending thread silver, and I don't have that glistening gloss. So what I think I'll do is pull out my Etoile, my DMC Etoile. There'll be a silver in there, or I'll look and see if I've got a Petite Treasure braid in silver, and then I can do that the next time I stitch on it. But that's where I got to, and then I decided that at 310 stitches I would go ahead and stop rather than trying to just finish that little sign here, because I didn't have all the threads I needed. But that's all that's lacking there. And then I think the next step would be to go up above this house, and there's a tree on this side, and then there's a tree on this side in the background between the two houses. But I think at least if I can get those stitches done that touch the house, then I can back stitch this big house in the middle, and that would be great. But I have one more house here to do, and then I've got the little cart, and then there's a house on this side. Actually, there's three. 1, 2, 3. So it's going along well, but there's a whole lot of more stitching to do in this. Well, it's a Stoney Creek, so you can imagine all the back stitching I have to do. But I think it's going to be beautiful. I think it's going to be very, very pretty. So I'm tickled to death. I've got both of my Whip Go goals met for the month already, and it's just the 5th. So awesome. One I did because it was called on my bingo board, and I just went ahead and did 304 stitches on it on my small gift, so I would have it met. And then today I purposely went in and picked this up and worked on it so I could finish my Whip Go board for the month, because I had already finished my bingo call for today. So that's good. I'm working some on challenges, I'm working some on acrostics, and of course every day I'm doing my little private bingo game, which is a lot of fun. But today, all total, I worked on Snow and Mountains, Hawk Run Hollow, and then Autumn in the Village. So I got a lot of stitching in today. I'm very happy about that. Tomorrow, I have Bible study at church, and then I will have the afternoon to stitch. And so I'll have to do my bingo call, and then I can decide what prompt I want to stitch for tomorrow, which will be fun. I hope you're having a great day. I've had a lovely day. We had some news in the last week that's been a little bit shocking, a little bit surprising. I have my dear friend that I stitched the Radian pieces for had a stroke. And so if you're a praying person, pray for her and send her warm thoughts. She's doing great. I was able to talk with her the last couple of days, which is good. And she's doing very, very well. She's now out of the hospital where she was admitted through the ER, and she's now going to a rehab hospital for a few days so that they can assess if she's back at 100% or not. I don't think she's quite there. I think she may have some weakness in her left arm and maybe her left leg, but it was quite a shock. It was quite a shock. And, life is fragile. And I'm thrilled and grateful that she has done so well. It was so good to get to talk to her, because in the beginning her speech was slurred and she didn't want to talk on the phone. So when she actually called me and started talking with me, that was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So I'm keeping up with her, and she is doing very, very well. But if you think about it, send her warm thoughts and prayers, and just for her continued recovery. I would appreciate it, and I know she would. So anyway, I guess I mentioned that to just say, they were just here the Saturday before. We had a great time, a great visit, great day together, and there were no problems whatsoever. And then boom. So take care of yourself, everybody. Get rest. Do some physical activity, move your body. Try to do that. Try to take care of yourself. You're precious. You're precious to your family and your friends. And so treat yourself as if you're precious. Take care of yourself. Okay? Because we love you. We want you to be here with us. Want you stitching with us. So take good care. And I hope that tomorrow I have lots of stitching to share with you. And I hope that you get time to stitch. Happy stitching, everybody.
Who's a good girl? Okay, let's go. Where'd you go? Where have you been? Hold on. Wait. All right, take it. Good girl. Right. Back to the trail.